Glad to have you back. It's a count we don't like doing, but we must until the boys are back. It's 61 days today, and the 6 boys from the Lagos State Model College, Igbonla, in May are yet to regain their freedom.
Now, the big question is, when will they be reunited with their parents? It's a question we've been asking. You can join the conversation online by tweeting at TVC Breakfast on Twitter using the hashtag Ekbe6. Now, our guest in the studio is the Lagos State National Representative of the Nigeria Union of Teachers, NUT, Akintoye Hassan. Akintoye, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us.
Now, we heard a statement from the acting president recently, and he said that very soon the boys will be back. This is not the first time we're hearing that. We've heard that from the governor. We've heard that from the police commissioner. We've heard that from the IG.
AIGs. True.
Is this different?
I see it as a political statement to gain probably the confidence of people in terms of reassuring them that those kids will be back. It is our prayer and hope that they should be released in time. But the question is that have we been doing anything meaningful to actually enhance the release of these kids? If it were any of the children of the big wigs, would they have remained there in the custody of kidnapper for 61 days? 61 multiplied by 24. You know the number of hours? Bringing it to minute or second level. The kind of hardship that we might not be able to portray that these kids are facing. I think it's beyond this issue of statement. We have witnessed how nations of the world handle situations like this. And that is why you see the younger generation are clamoring for position of authority, because this old generation have failed the people. And that is exactly the young generation, the future leaders, kidnapped, run into months. I was here when it was 14 days. We were part of the opinion that maybe we should give the government benefit of time to handle the situation, that it is a security matter, that the detail about their actions should not be unnecessarily made public. But where is the result of those actions? The security system has failed us. There's nothing we can do about it, and there's nothing we can say about it. We want to commend TVC. This is the only organization that keeps the hope of the parent and the victim alive. Every other media abandoned this issue. Education becomes a target of attack for kidnappers. The Boko Haram is there, students, teachers. Now Igbonla running for 61 days.
All right. So
we are tired.
Yes, we understand how you feel, and thank you very much for the commendation of the station. Now, like you said earlier, and that is even the stance of the police commissioner and the governor, that they cannot come to the public and reel out their intelligence efforts in trying to get the boys back, that it could jeopardize their safety. And of course, you know, this is a very sensitive issue, but yes, we still have to talk about it. What more do you think the government can do? Because the kidnappers demanded for money, and so far we've heard they got about 31 million naira now, but still demanding 1.5 million naira for transportation. So do you still think it's about money, or the kidnappers still want something more than that, especially from the government?
To me, it's a very critical issue. It depends on how you want to view it. If we really place value upon human life, you can even use conservative means, even when it is illogical, that within the context of governance, it is probably impossible for government to pay. There are other ways we can do this underground to save life first and track the criminals. You can come out and say we're not going to pay. Some arrangement can be made to save the life of the children first. So I don't want to subscribe to the fact that hey, we don't want to pay, whereas the people, we are not there to track even the effort of the security agents.
There were efforts by the police at a time that we heard in the news that they almost got to the hideout of the kidnappers, and they had to relocate.
When was that, madam? When was that? If you are almost got to the point.
Yeah, it's part of the report we got. I think that was when it was about 20 days.
Yeah, about 20 days.
Or 20 days and counting.
Days.
Yeah.
You moved 20 days from
They've
61
relocated
days,
twice
and
now.
you are almost there. 20 to 60 is ratio 1 to 3. So they are actually going further away from these children. That is the truth, by that simple analysis.
Because at that time we heard them say they knew where the boys were, where they were being
You might
held.
not disclose what your next strategy is, but you can disclose the result of the effort you have made.
Now, we
have seen that
when
done
it
in
comes
Turkey,
to
in several other places where criminal activity has taken place and the security network, they are working. We are not working. We can't deceive ourselves.
when it comes to issues of security, certainly it's not
Very
just in the
sensitive.
public space. It's not just logic. It goes more than that, beyond that. Now, do you see this as because 26 to 1 days and counting? Is this a product of strategy that the police is trying to, or the agencies are trying to put together, or is just issues of sheer incompetence? How would you rate it?
Let me just be fair to them by not subscribing to the word incompetence.
Okay.
But the fact is that if your effort cannot produce results, it is still tantamount to incompetence. But let's emphasize it. That probably their best has not been good enough to produce results. And it's because so many issues has to be addressed in this country. I know the governor of this state will not be a happy man. He's in charge, but he's not absolutely in charge. He cannot sanction somebody for incompetence because he's not actually in control.
He's not in charge of the police.
So this issue of security, and that's why there is clamor for state police, is a kind of establishment of the fact that the security system has failed the way the structure is. And the reflection is in these criminal activities here and there. Abduction. Everywhere. Young people being targeted. Where is that future of the country? Do we want to collapse this country? The economy is not smiling. Education is ailing. Health is already dead. Where is the hope?
All right. So, yes, you are an expert in education. You belong to the NUT of Lagos. So, paint to us really the structure of public schools in Nigeria and the kind of security these schools get in the country, especially in the state.
It is easier to police the government house, but nobody deemed it fit that where they keep the future generation of this nation should be policed appropriately. And that is the situation we find ourselves. Lack of planning. Most schools, this Ebola school is located within thick forest. But the fact is that it has been there for a long period of time. But since the first incidents, what significant effort have you seen around that place to show that government is awake to that challenge? No. Are you aware there is another threat in one of our modern schools along Badagry side? People now resort to self-effort, self-protection. Chapter 11 of the Constitution of Federal Republic. It's about security. Where is that responsibility being performed by the government of the day? Even the government of yesteryears. Citizens actually take up everything. That's why the private school is thriving. At least you cannot just come into the private school anyhow, because the bourgeois that have their children there, they pay for those services. Now, we are the children of the commoners, the masses. Where we keep them, nobody bother.
So this brings us to a point you made earlier about state police. You think that if each state gets its own police system,
it's not really
security
the
is
answer.
improved?
It's not really the answer.
Okay.
But it's an evidence that we have a failed state. So everybody now think that everybody for himself, God for us all. It's not even really the answer. What is actually the answer is to analyze the present situation, isolate the shortcomings, which has to do with funding, the training of those people that are involved. Then it's not even about the number of personnel this time around. It's about the technology that you put into use, where the job of 10 people can be done by just simple gadgets. Where is that investment? If any state is working in terms of security, it's probably through the additional effort of the governor of that state. Take, for instance, for almost 8 years now, we have what we call security transfer
in Lagos.
Whereby a corporate organization have to key him that it is better you donate to this scheme than to control the consequence of the security attack. And I think it's working.
All right, let's talk about the issue of collaborations generally. In the case of Boko Haram, we saw how the military and government was able to raise a civilian, what they call the civilian JTF. They even brought in a group of hunters, they brought in the group of vigilantes, and we saw the result. Now, in this case, do you think it will be ripe for the security agencies to collaborate with OPC, collaborate with vigilantes and in the villages and all of that?
I think we need to remove arrogance. One, the police personnel you brought to that scene, they are not conversant with the area. These are part of the shortcomings. Let me just summarize by saying, let's do all the needful combination of effort as long as we get the result, as long as we secure the release of the children. If we like, let the police partner with even the grasses of the area, the water of the area, so far it can bring the result. Nobody should be left out.
All right, thank you very much
remove the arrogance
for your analysis. Before we go, we could quickly ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10 so far, the efforts of the Lagos State government and the Nigerian police, like you have said that unless the boys are back, it seems they have done nothing. But from what you've seen so far, even the governor says it feels inadequate, but from what you've seen so far, have they made tangible efforts?
I don't see it. Like I said, and it will remain. Force that cannot produce motion, no work is done. As long as their effort cannot produce results, we assume that nothing tangible has been done. I'm afraid, this is my own personal opinion, as a teacher, as a labor person, we will use what we have to get what we want.
Meaning?
We work within the same environment. If the children in the school environment is not safe, the teacher is not safe. Mind you, the first one, teacher was involved. But unfortunately, or less unfortunately, for the teachers, we are not involved in this particular one. We are on holiday now. Personally, I will be the one to sponsor it. In any of our state, Wing Executive Council meeting, or even at the national meeting, their private school will not open if those 6 children are not released to join their colleague. We cannot continue to keep them.
All right, thank you very much, Comrade Akintoye Hassan. You are of the Lagos State National Representative of the NUT, Nigerian Union of Teachers. Thank you for coming and for your analysis on the plight of the 6 boys. Right.